Okay, so here we are live with another Mcfarlane DC Multiverse unboxing, and this is Black Adam, Hawkman, Hawkman from the Black Adam movie. Probably should have phrased it that way. That probably would have been better, right? So this is another figure that we're opening up in observation of Black History Month, and much like the last figure that we did, Kang, this is part of a mini theme within the theme, which is formerly white characters that were recast as black characters when they did the movie because they're ancient Egyptian, and there's no way that Hollywood is going to cast a white guy as an ancient Egyptian. So there you go. Back in like the 30s, the 40s, even as late as the 60s, like they'd cast white people as ancient Egyptians. It was just like it was just the sort of thing that you saw in movies. And uh at some point people realized we probably shouldn't do that anymore. And you still occasionally we get something like Gods of Egypt or something like that, but for the most part, when they would cast an ancient Egyptian person, they would be a person of darker skin color. Maybe not necessarily like even a black person, but like somebody who actually is from Egypt or something like that, like a Middle Eastern kind of look. So that makes a lot more sense. By the way, I've recently read, and I did not know this, that Boris Karloff, born William Henry Pratt, was actually of Indian descent. So he has some Indian blood in him. So I guess he wasn't too far off in terms of playing an ancient Egyptian. By the way, for those of you who haven't seen, I did get the recent NECA mummy figure. So that's not just an awkward segue. I'll probably be opening him up sometime next month because this month is going to be kind of full with a lot of the Black History Month characters I'm going to be opening up. I still got Mr. Terrific back here. Back here behind me, he needs to be opened up. I've still got all these Black Panther figures I'm going to have to do, and there are going to be some figures that I'm going to open up that aren't going to tie into this theme, mainly because I just got uh, this latest assortment from Mcfarlane Toys, and the one that I really want to open as soon as possible. And I think I'm going to do a special episode of her on Sunday when I don't normally do a Sunday episode. I'm going to do one this Sunday because I really want to open up this Power Girl figure. I've been wanting a Power Girl in this scale for a long time, and Mcfarlane finally provided, and she looks gorgeous, and I can't wait to open her. And I did get the other two figures in this assortment as well. I was really worried that they might send me the platinum edition version because that's the one with the jacket, and I don't want the one with the jacket. I want the one with the cape. Power Girl is supposed to have a cape, so I was excited to get that. And then I got, of course, Captain Cold. Excited about that. And I was kind of wondering maybe they'll send me the platinum version of that where he's got the blue skin. But no, they sent me the one with the regular Caucasian skin, and that not that big a deal to me either way. Like if I had to pick one, I'd probably pick the one with the regular Caucasian skin because that's more comic book accurate. But I'm a big fan of Super Friends too, so I didn't really mind if I got the blue skin version. So that would have been fine. And then last but not least, Guy Gardner, and they sent me the platinum version of Guy Gardner. Which means I'm still gonna have to buy another Guy Gardner at some point because I definitely want to have him as a Green Lantern, not just as a guy, you know. But I figure those last two, those can wait until March for me to open them up. That's fine. March is going to be a big month for me because that's my birth month and I'm excited about it. But Power Girl, I want to get her opened as soon as possible. So she's going to be a Sunday episode. We're going to get her done sometime. Like I said, it's not all going to be black superheroes this month. Even though like I've got a lot of them to work through, I knew there was still going to be a few. It is that guy again. I have opened a Guy Gardner on this channel before because I've done the superpowers version. But yeah, I'm gonna have to try to get the Green Lantern version because while it is cool to have this version, and I'm not complaining about it, I am glad that they sent me this one because it is one that I would like to have. it's not as necessary as the Green Lantern version of Guy Gardner. You understand? But like I said, that just means I'm just gonna have to buy another one at some point. It'll be okay. So yeah, Power Girl, I'm gonna do her as a Sunday episode, and I don't do that many Sunday episodes. So, and then next week, that's when I'm planning on doing the Black Panther figures, and sometime before the end of the month, I'm gonna open up Mr. Terrific. I still just haven't gotten around to opening up Mr. Terrific yet for whatever reason. But today we're gonna do Hawkman because I just got him and I'm excited about him. And this one's well overdue. I did buy the Hawkman figure when the movie came out. And this was back when I was pre-shooting the episodes, not doing them live. And that was one where, like, when I was doing the episode, his wrist snapped off, and I was really depressed by that. So I never got around to doing a proper unboxing video for Hawkman because of that. So yeah, since I finally got around to replacing the figure, now we can go ahead and do this video. So there we go. Hawkman, Black Adam. It's got the Black Adam movie logo on it. And there's the artwork on the back, and it's a nice comic book style drawing of Aldous Hodge as Hawkman, who has red pants for some reason. I don't understand why they decided to give him red pants instead of the standard green pants that Hawkman usually has. But let's go ahead and open them up. I did really, other than him having red pants, I did really like this design of Hawkman. I thought the wings looked really cool, and you know, maybe probably would have gone with another color for the breastplate than gray. Maybe that should have also been gold. I don't know. There's a lot of gold coloring on this guy already. But here are the wings. They're strapped in the back. And Hawkman himself with his mace. Because if you're only going to have one accessory for a Hawkman figure, it ought to be that mace. Unless you count the wings as accessories. But those are supposed to attach to the figure. So I consider those like part of the figure. But it's got like some really nasty looking spikes on there. A lot spikier than I'm used to Hawkman's mace being, quite frankly. I'm not complaining, but it is something I notice, you know. Double rubber tabs around his waist, and then a piece of tape around this forearm here. Doesn't seem to be any kind of hindrance on the other arm or the legs. And you know, it's weird that they had that piece of tape there because they don't have anything over here. You would think if they were going to have a piece of tape, they'd have it over here and it'd be overlapping with the mace, but it doesn't do that. So let's go ahead and get Hawkman out of the package. And here he is. And what we can see of the face, I think it's a pretty decent likeness of Aldous Hodge, but of course, most of it is covered up by his Hawkman helmet. Like I say, Hawkman almost always makes for a great action figure. And on this one, his wrist actually is moving around on its own. So, you know, I always say don't force your joints because that's how you break your joints. And then like a joint just snaps off on me like that. I swear I didn't force it. it was one where I just tried to turn it normally like I did. But I'm going to be really paranoid about the wrists on this Hawkman figure because I've already had one get ruined on me. And his strap kind of slipped down here. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be back up here. But it is glued down there, so maybe there is supposed to be a little bit of skin showing there. It does seem weird to have like the flesh showing in between, like it's just slipped down like that. I'm pretty sure it's not supposed to. I'm pretty sure it's. I don't know. It's confusing to me. So okay, let's go ahead and before we get into putting the wings on the figure, let's talk about the articulation. So Hawkman can look up about that far, and that's a great range of motion. That's what you want to have on a flying figure, where like I can have him completely prone like that, but you know, facing towards the camera, he still looks like he's looking at you. So that's nice. Head rotates all the way around, of course. You can tilt the head kind of quizzically from side to side. He can look down about that far. And again, that's the kind of thing you want, where like you want Hawkman to be able to look down as he hovers above you and looks down at you menacingly as he's about to smash you with his giant mace. So, and then the arms rotate all the way around at the shoulders, but they're going to kind of bump into these shoulder pads here, these pauldrons or whatever you want to call them. But they do rotate all the way around, and he's got a bicep swivel, so the bicep rotates all the way around. He's got double jointed elbows. That's about the range of motion you get to the elbows. I noticed that Hawkman has some little spikes on his glove here, so that's cool. Nice little nasty weapon. It does remind me a lot with the gauntlet and everything of the Filmation Hawkman cartoon, how he had that special gauntlet with the little hawk talons on it. And that was his main weapon on the cartoon. Maybe it was just easier to animate than than a mace. I don't know if I said ass. I think I was trying to say axe and then kind of switch to mace in the middle, just subconsciously. That was just weird. So he does not have any kind of mid-torso joint like Mcfarlane figures usually have, because I guess they didn't want to interrupt the breastplate. And you can see that the waist joint actually goes up in to the armor. So they made some changes to how the articulation works here because of the armor, and goes back about that far, goes forward about that far. It can kind of tilt from side to side, and all this stuff kind of mashes together because you got this soft rubber trunk piece, and the armor itself is kind of a soft, pliable rubber. So it kind of bumps into each other in some weird ways, but you should be able to get some pretty cool flying poses out of this, which we'll see a little bit more once I get the wings on. Hawkman's legs do kick back quite a good bit, and they kick forward about that far. So pretty good range of motion at the legs. It does have like not even as much as Mcfarlane figures usually have, but just a very little bit of back and forth here. It doesn't rotate all the way around. Lone Dragon says he needs a better ass. I don't know. You be the judge. Looks to me like he does some squats. That's all I'm saying. So, all right. So he's got double jointed knees. That's about the range of motion you get at the knees. So pretty decent. And then he's got the cool, no boot cut, but he does have the cool Mcfarlane ankle articulation, which worried me for a second there. Thought that was going to snap too, but gentle coaxing got it to do. So the ankle rotates all the way around where the ankle meets the foot and where the foot meets the ankle, where the ankle meets the foot and where the ankle meets the shin. But it does seem like it's really stiff, and I'm just not going to take a chance on that one right now. It does do it over here. So there we go. We got that. And it's about to take the whole ankle joint apart, and I hate it when that happens. And then he's got toe articulation just to show off, and some really nice treads on the bottom of those boots. So, like I say, Hawkman almost always makes for a great action figure. And pretty much every action figure I've ever had of Hawkman has been a comic book version or some kind of animated version, like the JLU figure. I did not get the CW version of Hawkman because actually I didn't think that was that impressive of an action figure. But but I didn't think the CW design was that impressive. They gave him the same helmet as Hawk Girl, and that just looked weird. And on a dude, it makes it look like Wolverine. So, but Aldous Hodge had a great Hawkman costume. Again, other than the fact that his pants are red, and I don't know why they decided to give him red pants instead of green pants. So the original Golden Age Hawkman figure had green pants with red trunks over them. But anytime they do them without the trunks, it's just green pants. So I don't know why they decided to go with red instead. He's got gold shin armor on the boots. The boots themselves look like they're kind of a grayish tan color. They match up with the same sort of gray that we have on the breastplate. And he's got some gold knee pads. So I probably, if it was me, probably would have put a little more red onto those boots and put a little more green onto these pants, and that would have been how I would have designed my Hawkman. You see how like there's these panels on the side here. You got some gold trim. Maybe like the panels could have been green, or the whole pants could have been red, or the whole pants could have been green and the panels could have been red. That might have been a way to do that. But yeah, I think they probably should have gone with green. So sometimes I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? But that's how I feel about it. So somewhere around here, I'm pretty sure that I still have over in this area, which I've just got a lot of piles of stuff here that I need to get rid of. Yeah, speaking of comic book, Hawkman, his spikes are kind of pointy, but they're nowhere near as long as the spikes on the movie version of the mace. And even though it's kind of warped, you can see that like the movie Hawkman mace is much longer. The handle is longer than the comic book version. So the black character has a bigger mace than the white character. So good job on that, Mcfarlane. Go ahead, make your jokes. I'll wait. I'll wait. Go ahead and put the mace in his hand. It is an impressive looking mace. And it's got like a little bit of a strap here, but it's not a functional strap. It's not going to wrap around his wrist or anything. And it looks like it's actually a broken sort of strap. And it does have that sort of problem that Mcfarlane accessories have a lot of the times where it's a little flooby. And I'm just going to be really paranoid about these wrists. Put the ass in his hand. Oh, okay, sure. There we go. Got a little bit of an itch there, I guess. Whatever. They did give him like how the original Hawkman had like a red disc on his chest on his chest on the harness. And you can see in later versions they usually put like a hawk head version on it, but the Golden Age version it was just a red disc. And they did give him like this kind of like red gem in the middle of the harness to kind of represent that. Red dicks? Oh no, he's not a dog. That'd be Dog Man. I haven't read any of those books. My nephews like them, but hopefully they don't get that explicit in Dog Man since those are supposed to be kids' books. But yeah, so where was I? Oh yeah, so that's what he looks like holding the mace. The mace is pretty cool, and of course it wouldn't be Hawkman if he didn't have like a massive set of wings. So let's go ahead and get those out of the package. And I haven't forgotten about the trading card yet. Hopefully we won't forget about the trading card, but it is underneath like all this action figure stuff. So I'm kind of going in order this time. So we can see the wings just have these two kind of pegs. They're just kind of molded on there. So they're not as big as the wings on the comic book version of the comic book version of Hawkman. So the white guy's got bigger wings than the black guy. I don't know. Maybe that makes up for the whole mace thing. So let's just admit they're both impressive in their own right. How about that? So here we go with the wings put on there. And I do wish the wings were a little bit better articulated since, like I said, it's just a peg that just kind of fits in there. So they're not as cool as the wings on our comic book Hawkman, but they are still pretty cool. I like the gold and the red. I think that works together pretty well. Maybe that's why they decided to give them red pants, so there'd be like some matching between the wings and the pants. I don't know. But yeah, they did a good job with his costume in the movie, I thought, for the most part. So, and he looks like he'd go really well with He-Man action figures, since I happen to have battle armor He-Man here. You could see him like interacting with He-Man somewhat, or he could probably go with the Flash Gordon figures too, and fit in with their what kind of superpowers does Black Man have? Probably electrical powers, because as we noted, they sure do like to give black superheroes electrical powers. So I think Black Man would almost certainly have electrical powers. I would say that would be the case. So so yeah, while I do wish the articulation on the wings was a little bit better, they're still pretty cool. It's just, you can't really get them to spread too much, unfortunately. And Hawkman does not come with a flight stand, which is very unfortunate. Like I said, I feel like every flying character should come with a flight stand, and especially Hawkman. But he does have a regular action figure stand, and that's something that like we're definitely gonna want since he is gonna be kind of top heavy with the wings. And they just got the trading card kind of taped into the package here. I'm trying to pull it loose. Hopefully, don't get too much damage to the card. It looks fine. But here's our action figure stand. It is indeed the standard DC Multiverse black action figure stand, just matte black with a glossy black DC logo embossed onto it. And here's the same artwork that we see on the back of the package. It's nice artwork. I think it was just artwork that was, from the style guide for the movie. And it says Hawkman, Black Adam, data file, real name Carter Hall. And then it says, with a suit of armor constructed by gravity-defying nth metal, Hawkman combines physical prowess with a strong sense of morality, instilling years of knowledge and experience into the younger members of the burgeoning Justice Society. The man known as Carter Hall, who has fought for millennia to protect global stability, and he won't let anything or anyone, including Black Adam, stand in his way. So yeah, there we go. That's the trading card. So this was, I believe, the first Hawkman that it was one of the first Black Adam figures, but it was one of it was the first Hawkman, I believe, that Mcfarlane had made. And as much as I like the movie design, I probably would have rather had the comic book version, because I generally like to have the comic book versions the best. Those are usually the ones I like best. But I didn't mind this being the only Hawkman figure that I had for a while, except for the fact that his wrist broke. So, and then by the time that I finally got around to replacing, the one with the broken wrist, then I had a comic book style Hawkman. And honestly, I wouldn't have picked the 90s version of Hawkman to be my only comic book style of Hawkman. So I'm really hoping that Mcfarlane gets around to doing a proper classic comic book Hawkman. It could be Golden or Silver Age. I don't care. The only real difference is that disc on the front of his harness. So they did do a platinum version of this, which is very expensive right now, so I don't have it. But the platinum version is colored in more of a classic style, where he has the green pants with the red trunks, and but it's still the sculpt of the 90s version. So I want a proper classic Hawkman. That's what I'm asking for at this point. We got two really cool Hawkman action figures, I think. And they both have kind of advantages one over the other, but they're both pretty cool figures. But I just want a third where he's the classic comic book version. So hopefully they'll get around to that. I think that would be really cool. But as it is, most of the Black Adam figures are easy to get on the secondhand market for pretty cheap. They were pretty plentiful, and this movie, unfortunately, even though as much as I loved it, I had a fun time watching this movie. It wasn't as financially successful as I feel like it deserved to be. And Warner Brothers, of course, they do the thing where they overcorrect and decide to reboot the whole universe. So even though it had done better than any DC movie since, I think, the first Suicide Squad, or no, Aquaman, I think was the last one that came out that did really well. That one made like $1 billion. So Aquaman did good. But it seemed like they were turning things around and getting things on the right track, and then they decided to let James Gunn make a movie about Superman wearing baggy pajamas. So we'll see how that does for him. But 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 yeah, so the figures are pretty easy to get for cheap, but the one that's not so easy to get for cheap is actually Hawkman. Probably because, like I said, Hawkman almost always makes for an impressive action figure. So people want this Hawkman figure for their collection. And if you weren't able to get the collector edition figure, this is the only other Hawkman that's available in McFarlane Toys right now. And I can see how some people might look at it and be like, well, he's colored a little more like the classic version of Hawkman from the comics. Not 100%, but he's not wearing blue pants. So, it's closer, I guess, whatever. But, your mileage may vary on which of these figures you think is best. But if you only have one Hawkman figure in your collection, you could do a lot worse than this guy. So hopefully, like I said, they'll get around to doing the comic book version, like the classic comic book version at some point. But until then, this is you can't go wrong with this guy. He's pretty cool. So that's it for this figure. I'm gonna do a special episode on Sunday just so I can go ahead and open up my Power Girl action figure. I'm really excited about this one. So we're gonna do a special episode just for her. That way I won't wind up interrupting next week. I want to do all those Black Panther figures that I promised you this week, but work kind of kicked my ass. Work is going to kick my ass next week too, but I think I'm at least a little more adjusted to it at this point. So, but I need to get them done this week because I think this is like the going to be the last full week in February, and I'm planning on doing Black Panther himself last in that wave. And Black Panther is probably the most important character that I'm going to talk about in terms of the Black History Month theme, since he is the first Black superhero. So he deserves some attention just for that. Uh, but other than that, I think we're pretty much done. I think this episode's finished. So if you enjoyed it, please make sure that you like and subscribe and all that fun YouTube stuff down below. Leave a comment what you think about Hawkman, both this figure specifically and the character in general. And the movie version of Hawkman, especially since this is the movie version of Hawkman. But that's pretty much it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. We will talk to you next time. Bye. No, I said to end.